Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
And with Labor Day weekend being the end of summer, it's time to head back to school. And that's what we're going to hear starting off in this episode of Classic Radio Theater, an episode of the Abbott and Costello Show. This episode was originally broadcast March 1st, 1945.
Hey, Abbott, what time is it? It's time for the Abbott and Costello Show. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go with the Abbott and Costello Show. Abbott and Costello Show, produced and transcribed in Hollywood tonight for your listening pleasure. So, hold on to your chairs, folks, for here they are, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello. Costello, where have you been? And who's that fellow standing behind you?
Oh, this guy. He works for me, Abbott.
What does he do for you?
Well, I broke my suspenders this morning, and he follows me around and holds his hands on my hips.
You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Take the joke with you.
Come here. Costello, you should be ashamed of yourself. Just look at the condition of your clothes. You know we're having Frank Sinatra on our program tonight. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Now, how can you be so untidy?
Oh, I'm untidy?
You are.
Did you ever get a good look at Sinatra? That guy looks like a stand-in for a dust mop.
Now. We'll have no insults. Sinatra is considered a very handsome man.
Handsome? He's so skinny, if they wanted to hang him, they'd have to put the rope under his arms.
Costello, looks aren't everything. Sinatra is very intelligent. He's a college man. He has a sheepskin.
Why don't he wear a veil and nobody will notice it?
You should be very glad that Sinatra is coming here tonight. We may even persuade him to sing for us.
Abbott, if there's going to be any singing here tonight, I will do it. Not Sinatra.
But, Costello, how can you compare yourself to Frank? Sinatra has talent.
I've got talent.
Sinatra appeals to women.
I appeal to women.
Sinatra makes $30,000 a week.
I appeal to women. Hey, Abbott, you shouldn't have invited that guy over here. It's dangerous. We're liable to be stampeded by a mob of dames.
Costello, Sinatra's fans are not dangerous?
Oh, no? When his last picture played in North Hollywood, 6 ushers got the Purple Heart.
Oh, walk there. Just talk sense is all I ask of you.
Listen, there's been crazy people hanging around the studio all day. One dame came in, and she had... What did she have? I can't read right. Let's see. Oh, yeah. One dame came in with a pot of geranium.
Well, what's crazy about that?
They were growing out of her head.
Well, I believe you're jealous of Sinatra's personal magnetism.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
You are.
I didn't know Sinatra had magnetism. That's terrible.
Why?
My grandmother has magnetism in her right leg.
No, you dummy. Your grandmother doesn't have magnetism. She has rheumatism. She gets stiff in the joints.
Shame on you, Abbott. My grandmother never took a drink in her life.
I beg your pardon, gentlemen. Which one of you is Sinatra?
Abbott, I'll bet this girl was sent here by Tommy Dorsey.
Just a minute, Junior. You are addressing the president of the 15th Avenue branch of the Sam Sinatra fan club.
Madam, please. The name is Frank Sinatra.
Not in Brooklyn, it ain't. Do you know that in my branch of the Sam Sinatra fan club, we got over 400 members, not including the groups.
Who are the groups?
That's the men's auxiliary.
How dare you talk that way about Sinatra? Oh, his voice really sends the girls.
That's nothing, kid. My voice not only sends them, but it wraps them up, crates them, and delivers them right to the door.
You see that, Costello? Women are crazy about Frank Sinatra.
I can't understand it. When he was born, the store delivered him to the YMCA.
What for?
So they could build him up a little before showing him to his folks.
Oh! This
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Well, that ends that week.
Oh, come on, please. You got to stop making that racket, Costello. I've told you you're not a singer.
Oh, is that so? I used to sing in a quartet with 10 other guys.
10 other guys?
Yeah.
There are only 4 people in a quartet.
No wonder we sounded so loud.
Costello, look, you have no business singing on the same program with Sinatra. He has a trained voice. He has technique. He has color.
He sings in Technicolor?
No, but he knows the finer points, such as breathing.
I know breathing, too. I've been breathing for years. It's a habit I picked up when I was a kid. Besides, what makes you feel so sure that Sinatra is breathing?
Hey, Costello, listen. There's somebody at the door. I wonder who it is.
It ain't Sinatra. He can't knock that hard.
Come in.
Good evening, gentlemen. I have a special microphone for Mr. Sinatra. What's the matter with the microphone we got here? It's too wide.
Wait a minute. What is this? Come here, big boy. I see you want Mr. Sinatra to be seen, eh?
That guy could hide behind a wire. I wonder what Sinatra does with his red points. Everybody is allowed a little meat. Well, here's a special microphone, and be careful of it. Now, wait a minute, mister. I'd like to ask you a question. Well, what is it? When Sinatra sings, does he stand up? Of course. Alone? Yes, indeed. I'll be sure not to break the handles off his microphone. Bye.
Good evening, sir. I'm Mr. Sinatra's nurse.
You mean to say he's still got a nurse?
Costello, there's nothing unusual about that.
Boy, didn't you ever have a nurse, young man?
Yeah, but I let her go when I was 6 weeks old. And if she looked like you, I wouldn't have waited that long.
Look, don't mind Costello. What can we do for you, miss?
Well, you see, we always examine everybody who comes in contact with Mr. Sinatra. Now, this little fat man here looks like he might provide a very good home for germs.
Keep my relatives out of this.
Open your mouth, please. Say ah. 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 Open your mouth. Ah. Ah. All right, open wider. Ah. Ah. Wider.
Wipe your feet off before you come in.
Now, Mr. Costello, has anybody taken your pulse lately?
No, I got it right here with me.
Wait. What's the matter?
I think I left it in my other suit.
Costello, hold out your wrist and let the nurse feel your pulse.
I just met the women. We hardly know each other.
No, don't be silly now. Go ahead. What have you got to lose? Give her your wrist.
All right, there, you got it.
My, this is strange.
What's the matter?
This is the first pulse I ever saw with short ears and a long tail.
You're looking at my Mickey Mouse wristwatch. Look, kid, does your face hurt you?
No.
It's killing me. What a busy joint this is. I'll take the telegram.
Well, yeah. Lucille. Well, all right. Well, what does it say?
I don't know. I can't read.
Oh, give me that telegram. Let's see. It says, Dear Abbott and Costello, the Hasbrouck Heights Sinatra fans will all be listening to your show tonight. Signed, Roberta Stockings.
Roberta Stockings?
Mm-hmm.
That must be a hi-hat for Bobby Socks. Bobby Socks? Wow! Say, Abbott, where is Hasbrouck Heights?
Boy, it's in New Jersey, and it's Frank Sinatra's hometown.
What? He's from New Jersey? My home state?
Well, that's right. Now, aren't you ashamed of yourself? All those nasty things you said about Frank?
I'm in a terrible fix, Abbott.
You should be.
Oh, whatever you do, don't tell anybody what I said because it's liable to get to Harry James, and Harry James is liable to tell it to Benny Goodman, and Benny Goodman is liable to tell it to Spike Jones, and Spike Jones is liable to tell it to Margaret O'Brien, and then she won't play jacks with me anymore just when I'm up to my foursies. I beg your pardon, gentlemen. Frank Sinatra is here. Okay, just slip him under the door. Oh, fellas.
Frank, we want to welcome you to our program.
Well, thanks, boys. Yeah, Frankie. I was just telling Abbott what a nice guy you are.
Yeah, I heard you.
So you're up to your foresies, huh? Well, any more cracks like that and you'll be up to your nexie and mudsy. Oh, he was only kidding, Frank. Costello loves you. He's from New Jersey, too, you know.
Yes, sir. I'm from Patterson, New Jersey. Say, Frank, how far is that from Hasbrouck Heights?
To you, it would be about a 20-minute ride in a patrol wagon.
You know, for a thin guy, he's getting some pretty fat jokes.
With your shape, I wouldn't talk, kid.
Well, I may be a little bulgy. But remember, even an army travels on its stomach.
If you get any bigger, an army will be able to camp on yours.
Abbott, New Jersey, or no New Jersey, this guy is asking for it.
Now, Costello, cut it out. Cut it out.
And he's just my size.
Never mind that.
Twice.
All right. Look, you and Frank should get along fine. You're both from New Jersey, and you should have a lot of friends in common.
He's probably got a lot of common friends.
Never mind that. Sure, Costello, you must remember a lot of the boys back home. Did you know Nat Hickey?
Nat Hickey? Sure. He sat in the back of me in the second grade. He was a little short kid with a mustache.
You know, many's the time I played hooky with Hickey to play hockey.
And now you're getting hokey.
Hey, Bob! Why didn't you tell me Frank Sinatra was coming here?
Well, hello, Connie. Gee, I haven't seen you all since we worked together with Dorsey's band. Well, I didn't know that you two knew each other.
Of course. Frankie and I are old friends. I knew him before he put on all that weight.
Watch those cracks, Connie, or you'll be up to your nexie and mudsy.
Gee, Connie, it's sure good to see you. Say, if you're not doing anything after the show, how's about taking a little walk with me,
I'd love to.
Hey, say, that's a swell idea. The three of us can take a walk, and we can talk about New Jersey.
Well, I'd plan to take Connie for a little drive up to Beverly Hills.
Oh, good. That would be cozy, just the three of us.
Then I thought we'd stroll through the park for a while.
How romantic, just the three of us.
Then I'm taking Connie to Ciro's for a $20 dinner.
Well, you finally got rid of me. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that you all want to hear Frankie Sinatra sing, so I've asked him to sing a very pretty song, If You Are But a Dream.
If you are but a dream, I hope I never waken. It's more than I could bear to find that I'm forsaken. If you're a fantasy, then I'm content to be in love with lovely you, and pray my dream comes true. I long to kiss you, but I would not dare. I'm so afraid that you may vanish in the air. So, darling, if our romance should break up, I hope I never wake up. If you swell song you sang, Frankie. Next to Lana Turner, you're my favorite singer.
Silly, Lana Turner can't sing.
She don't have to. But I did. I like that dream number you did. You know, Frankie, that brought back memories of the past. Remnants of my school days.
Costello, you mean reminiscences of your school days. Remnants are rags.
Did you ever see my school clothes? I mean remnants.
The last time I was in Hasbrouck Heights, Lou, I stopped around to see my old schoolhouse. Just an ivy-covered old building. Gee, but it looked beautiful to me.
Good. Glad to hear you say that. Because when I went back to Patterson, I visited my old schoolhouse, too, Frankie.
Mm-hmm.
A little red building nestled in the woods. What a dump. I'm only kidding, Patterson.
Sometimes I wish we could turn back the clock and be kids all over again.
Well, now, wait a minute. We can arrange that for you. Freddie Rich, a little school day music, please.
Hey, break it up, kids. Break it up. Hey, break it up, kids. Here comes the teacher. Oh, just when the dice are hot.
Good morning, children.
Good morning, Mr. Lawyer.
We'll now play the roles. Chauncey Abbott.
Present. Oh, Chauncey. No wonder he changed his name to Bud.
Connie Haines. Present. Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra, are you here?
Sunday, Monday, and always.
And now the girls will return to their own seats.
Wait till they sit down. Wait till they sit down. I put text on their seats.
Lou Costello, you may go to the blackboard and write I am a dope 100 times.
I got to go to the blackboard and write you are a dope 100 times?
Not you are a dope, I am a dope.
That's what I've been saying all along. Hey, teacher, how do you spell dope?
Frank Sinatra, spell dope.
D-O-A-P, dope.
Wrong.
R-O-N-G, wrong. Gee, it's a good thing I can sing, hey.
Lou Costello, go back to your seat and get out your homework.
Okay. Hey, Abbott, I got a very tough question here in my homework. Who invented the steam engine?
No. What invented the steam engine?
What?
That's correct.
What's correct?
Certainly.
Look, all I said was who invented the steam engine.
And I'm telling you who didn't invent the steam engine.
I don't want to know who didn't invent it. I want to know who did.
What?
Here we go again. Look, I asked you who invented the steam engine, right?
No, Wright invented the airplane. What invented the steam engine?
What's on second?
Abbott and Costello, what are you two boys doing?
We're breaking in a new routine.
Well, break it up. Frank Sinatra, name all the presidents of the United States.
But I don't know them all.
When I was your age, I could name them all.
When you were my age, there were only 3 of them.
There were 4, so there. Now, we'll try arithmetic. Connie Haines, you have your arithmetic problem ready?
Yes, teacher.
Well, read it.
A buys a barrel of apples from B for $2. He sells them to C for $4. C sells them to D for $8.
Boy, is H going to get stuck.
That's the wrong answer. And just for that, Frank Sinatra will stay after school.
For what?
For me.
Well, I won't do it.
Then I insist on speaking to your father.
Go ahead. He's sitting in the last row.
Teacher, can I ask a question?
Go ahead, Costello.
You know, I've been reading this book, and it says that the bees take the pollen from one flower and bring it to another flower. And then they take the pollen from another flower and bring it to another flower. And then after a while, there's lots of flowers.
Yes?
Well, what I want to know is, where's Gypsy Rosalie playing tonight?
Lou Costello, you're a disgrace to the entire school.
No, he ain't, teacher. We kids are proud of Lou Costello, and we have selected him as the boy in our class with the forehead most likely to receive.
Children, Frank Sinatra, I predict that both you and your friend Lou Costello will eventually wind up in the gutter. School's dismissed.
Boy, Lou, you know those school days were mighty happy days.
You know something, Frank? I like you. You're a nice guy, and I hope you're not jealous.
Why would I be jealous of you?
Well, on account of I'm a singer, too.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. There's always room for one more singing on the radio.
Frank, I want you to do me a favor. My mother is listening in tonight, and I know she wants to hear me sing, and also my Uncle Artie Stebbins is listening. And now, if you would sing a song with me, that would be a feather in my cap.
Okay, take this piece of music, and I'll make you an Indian chief. Now, I'll start the song, and you join in when I come to your part.
Just give me one of the sheets, so we're both licked.
I have your part marked in red.
Oh, boy, at last I'm going to sing a duet with Frankie Sinatra.
A little man walked up and down, found an eating place in town. He looked the menu through and through to see what 15 cents could do. One
meatball!
One
meatball!
He could afford but one
meatball!
He told the waiter near at hand the simple dinner he had planned. The folks were startled, one and all, to hear that waiter loudly call, one
meatball!
One
meatball!
Hey, this gent wants one. One.
Oh, meatball!
This is my line. One.
Meatball!
You get no bread with
my place again.
meatball.
Bud Abbott, Lou Costello, along with Frank Sinatra, their guest, and their singer Connie Haines, here on Classic Radio Theater in an episode of Abbott and Costello, March 1st, 1945. When we come back, we'll head to Summerfield. It seems that there are problems in the household of the Great Gildersleeve, and we'll check those out in just a moment. On MyPillow's 20th year anniversary, over 80 million MyPillows sold, and Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank each and every one of you by giving you the lowest price in history on their MyPillows. Queen-size MyPillows, regular price $69.98, now only $19.98, $10 more for king-size. MyPillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs to help you get the best sleep ever. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast square to get Mike's amazing offer on the queen-size MyPillow for only $19.98, or call 800-928-4715. Use promo code Wyatt. Also, deep discounts on all MyPillow products, the bed sheets, mattress toppers, pet beds, mattresses, my slippers, and more. MyPillow.com, promo code Wyatt, or call 1-800-928-4715, 1-800-928-4715.
In today's economic climate, you might think it's impossible to get credit to buy a car. We have news for you. In fact, financing is available, and there's never been a better time to buy a car or truck. Your local dealer has access to multiple sources of credit and will work with you to find financing that meets your needs. You can find interest rates as low as 0%, end-of-year savings and rebates. Vehicle quality and fuel efficiency are the highest ever. Now is the time to buy. A message from the National Automobile Dealers Association.
I'm Wyatt Cox. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater. Now, another episode of the Great Gildersleeve. Before he moved to Summerfield to become the guardian of Leroy and his sister, Gildy didn't have a lot of contact with schools. But now it appears that the contact is getting more intense. This episode of The Great Gildersleeve originally broadcast September 16th, 1945.
The Kraft Foods Company presents The Great Gildersleeve. It's The Great Gildersleeve, starring Harold Peary, brought to you by the Kraft Foods Company, makers of Parquet Margarine and a complete line of famous quality food products.
Now let's see what goes on in the home of the Great Gildersleeve. Leroy, it seems, is in the doghouse. He got himself suspended from school, and he's been sent to bed without any supper.
The big jip. Oh, Lady McCann. I wish I'd told her what I really thought of her. All right, so I'm suspended for a week. What am I supposed to do, bust out crying? Ha! The other kids are in school. They're slaving away, and I'm outside playing. Not bad. Yeah, I'm gonna like this.
That's what he thinks the next morning at breakfast.
Leroy?
Yes, Unc?
Out in the garage, Leroy, you will find a mess. I want it cleaned up.
I didn't do it, Unc. Honest, all I did.
Nevertheless, you will clean it up.
Yes, sir.
I want every tool in its proper place. I want those broken flower pots removed, and I want it swept out. I want it spotless. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Somebody spilled some paint in there, too. I almost stepped in it.
Not me.
You'll clean it up. Understand?
Yes, sir. Fine, sister.
Having done that, my boy, you will repair to the cellar. There you will take all the kindling and stack it neatly in the corner near the coal bin. When you finish stacking the kindling, you will proceed to remove all that junk you've scattered around down there. All of it. Understand?
Yes, sir.
What about the back porch?
Why don't you drop dead?
Yes, I meant to speak about that. All those crates that you and Piggy piled up there, I want them put away.
That's our machine gun nest.
I don't care what it is. Get rid of it. And following that...
Say, that's a swell necktie you're wearing, Unc. That's new, isn't it? Where'd you get it?
Don't try to change the subject, Leroy.
Huh?
After you have cleaned up the back porch, I want you to go up to your room and study your lessons.
Oh, gosh, just cleaning out the garage will take me all morning. When do I get to play?
You don't get to play, Leroy. This is not a vacation. It's a punishment. You hear that, Bertie? I want you to keep an eye on him and see that he sticks to business.
Yes, sir.
You'd better expect me home for lunch, too. I intend to check up on him myself. Don't hear me.
I'm not.
And don't sit there feeling sorry for yourself.
I'm not sitting here.
Out to the garage, Leroy. Out to the garage. I'm not going to have any boys getting suspended around here.
Leroy, I declare you've been asking me that every 15 minutes since breakfast.
Oh, gosh, that's hard work I'm doing out there. Takes energy.
I know.
I feel kind of faint.
All right, Leroy, you can start in if you want to. Your lunch is on the dining room table.
Thanks, Bertie.
It ain't nothing but sandwiches. Your uncle said I wasn't to give you nothing but a regular school lunch.
That's okay. Boy, this looks super.
Your uncle ought to be along any minute if you want to wait.
No, I'd better start in.
There's a little piece of that lemon meringue pie left over from last night. If you don't tell your uncle I gave it to you.
Bertie, I'm glad I got one friend left.
Leroy, you shouldn't talk like that. The best friend you got is your uncle.
Are you kidding? He doesn't even like me.
Of course he likes you. He thinks the world of you, Leroy.
Nope, nobody likes me. Except Miss Wynn.
Ah, that's a lot of nonsense. Who's Miss Wynn?
She's my new teacher. That is, she was till old Lady McCann came back and got her fired.
How do you know she got her fired?
Because she's always doing things like that. Well, do you know, Bertie, she's got a piece of rubber hose in her closet, and she beats you with it when you're bad.
Is that a fact?
You can ask any kid in the school.
Did she beat you?
Well, no, but I was lucky. I just got suspended. I'll tell you how the whole thing happened, Bertie. I was sitting
Oh,
there...
here comes your uncle now.
Oop, I better get back to work. I'll take the sandwich with me.
But, Leroy...
You can slip me the pie later, Bertie, after he goes.
I don't know. Mr. Gildersleeve?
Yeah, it's me, Bertie. Lunch about ready? I'm short for time. Got to get out to the reservoir and see about things there.
All ready for you, Mr. Gildersleeve. It's on the table.
Fine.
I thought some sandwiches would be nice.
Sandwiches?
That's what Leroy had.
Oh, where is Leroy?
Oh, he's out in the garage working.
He is, eh? Has he really stuck at it, Bertie?
Mr. Gildersleeve, I never saw a little boy work so hard in my life.
Yeah, guess I threw a scare into him, all right.
It's a fact. Why, I could hardly get him to come and eat his lunch, hardly. One bite and he's right out there again working.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Let's see. What are these? Oh, cucumber sandwiches. Well, they won't put on any weight.
Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yes, Bertie?
Don't you think maybe it's going a little far, making the little boy work all day long like that with no time to play?
The boy was guilty of impertinence, Bertie. He was rude to his teacher. He must be taught a lesson. Hand me the salt, please.
Yes, sir.
Say, Bertie, that lemon meringue pie we had last night, you haven't got a little piece of that left, have you?
No, sir, I'm sorry, I ain't.
Oh, well.
Yes, sir, that Leroy sure worked hard out there this morning, lifting all them heavy things and sweeping out. He sure worked hard.
Well, I don't want to be too hard on the boy. After all, I wasn't perfect myself. As a child, I mean. I had my little run-ins with the authorities. You can tell Leroy, Bertie, that he only has to work during school hours. After 3 o'clock, he can play.
Gee, thanks, Unc. Thanks a lot.
Oh, I thought you were out in the garage, Leroy, working.
I'm just on the way out. Have a nice lunch, Unc. Sorry I can't join you, but you know how it is. I want to finish the garage so I can get at the cellar before it's time to play.
That boy.
Yeah, I'm only surprised he didn't get the teacher suspended. Quiet around here. Anybody home, for goodness sake?
Oh, good evening, Unky. Home so early?
Is there anything particularly unusual in my being home at 6 o'clock?
Uncle Mort Marshall's here.
Well, do we have to whisper? I don't see him. Where is he?
Uncle Mort, please. He's in the study.
In the study? What's he doing in there?
He's going away to school. He came over to say goodbye.
That why you had the door closed?
We closed it to keep Leroy out. Now, come in and say hello.
As soon as I hang up my hat.
And please be nice to him. Come along. Uncle Mort, you remember Marshall Bullard?
Well, I certainly should.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening. I understand, Marshall, that you're going away to school. That's fine.
Uncle Mort, really?
Oh, I mean, it's fine you're going to school. Too bad you're going away.
Just came over to say goodbye to Marjorie.
Oh, leaving tonight? Well.
Oh, no, sir. I'm not going till the end of the week, sir.
Oh, taking no chances, eh? Well, good luck when you do go.
Thank you, sir. I'll probably be over to say goodbye again before that.
Oh, I dare say. What the devil was that?
It's probably Leroy. He's down in the cellar.
I better see what's going on down there.
Yes, you'd better do that, Unky.
If you'll excuse me.
Oh, go right ahead, sir. Yes, sir.
I never trust a boy who calls me sir. Do they have to close the door? By George, if they're smooshing in there. After all, I'm her uncle. I got a right to know what goes on. I think I'll just leave this door open, my dear, if you don't mind. It gets a little close in there. Leroy! What's going on down there? Bertie!
Yes, sir?
What's all that racket?
That's Leroy cleaning up the cellar, I guess.
But I told him he could quit at 3 o'clock. I told him he could go out and play.
Yes, sir. He went out for a while, and then he came back in again.
But this isn't like Leroy.
No, sir. I think he feels bad about something. I think he's got something on his mind.
Why?
Well, the way he acts. I asked him about it, and he just gave me a look and ran on down the cellar quick and then slammed the door.
We'll have to see about this. Leroy? Guess he didn't hear me. Well, I'll go down.
I don't care. I don't care about Donald Kelsey or Robert Rosenblatt or Peter Fish or any of them. But Peggy, I thought he was my friend.
Leroy! What's the matter, my boy?
Nobody likes me.
That's not true. I like you.
No, you don't.
Marjorie likes you.
She does not.
And Bertie likes you.
Well, that's all. I don't know what's the use of hanging around here. Everybody just... all they do is hate.
Now. Put on that hammer and come here. Here, my boy, blow your nose. Now, tell your old uncle. Tell your old uncle what's the matter. What are you doing down here? Why don't you go out and play?
I did. Nobody would play with me.
Why not?
Their mothers wouldn't let them.
Why not?
Because they heard I got suspended.
That's perfectly ridiculous.
I don't care. I don't care that darn old kids play with me.
Now, Leroy. You shouldn't cry, a boy your age.
I'm not crying. I just get so darn mad.
Yeah, I know how it is. I get that way sometimes myself. I'll tell you what, my boy. You just come upstairs with me. I'll play with you.
But I want to play with kids.
Well, we'll see what we can do about it. Come along.
Leroy, you down there?
Yeah, we're just coming up, Bertie.
There's somebody at the door for Leroy, that little bullet boy.
There. What did I tell you, my boy? There's somebody who wants to play with you.
Oh, for corn's sake, Craig Bullard.
Well, he's a little young, perhaps.
You want me to send him away? Dinner's just about ready.
No, let me talk to him, Bertie.
Yeah, I guess he's better than nobody.
Did I hear that kid brother of mine?
Yeah, he's at the front door, Marshal.
Hiya, Craigie, old boy. Hi, Leroy. Glad to see you. Come on in.
I can't. I just come over to tell you my father won't let me play with you.
Huh?
Hey, Craigie, Nick.
Just a minute. Say that again, Sonny.
Yeah, let's have that again.
My father says I can't play with you. He says you're a bad influence.
Craig!
He says you're just like your uncle.
Oh!
What's happening?
Young man, you run along home just as fast as your little legs will carry you. And you tell your father for me. You tell your father for me. For me.
Mr. Gildersleeve, you'll have to forgive Craig.
You too. If my nephew isn't good enough to play with Craig, you're not good enough to hang around my niece.
Uncle Mort, you can't talk to Marshall like that.
Oh, can't I? Get off the property. And stay off.
He doesn't mean it, Marshall. Don't pay any attention to him.
Go on, get off the property.
Marshall!
Evidently, I'm not welcome here. Good night.
Now look what you've done.
It serves you right.
Really, Uncle Mort, sometimes I think you're the stupidest man a girl ever had for an uncle.
Marjorie, I'm inclined to think you're right. And the stupidest thing I ever did was to become an uncle. Who got me into this?
The Great Gildersleeve will be back again in a moment. Just now, we'd like to enact a little breakfast scene. The soon-to-be-contented man is played by yours truly, John Lang.
There you are, John, dear. Nice golden brown toast. Just the way you like it.
Hey, you're handing it to me dry. What goes with it? Where's my favorite spread?
Oh, I didn't know you had a favorite.
Wait a minute, my favorite wife. Don't you listen when I talk about the wonderful flavor of parquet margarine? Why, the many times you've heard me say how good parquet margarine tastes. The many times.
I was only teasing, dear. Of course we've got parquet margarine. Here you are.
That's more like it. This toast is delicious. Parquet margarine's delicious. You're delicious.
What a character. There's a man who really knows what's delicious.
Okay, Leroy, and I'll just step out of character a moment to remind our friends that parquet margarine is not only wonderfully good to eat, but is high in food energy value and fortified with important vitamin A. It's mighty economical, too, only about half the price of costly spreads. So be sure to buy delicious, economical parquet. Parkay, parquet margarine, made by Kraft. Now let's get back to the Great Gildersleeve. 24 hours have passed, and his nephew Leroy is still suspended from school. He is also still being shunned by his friends. Gildersleeve is beginning to feel sorry for the boy, as we can see if we drop in at Mr. Peavy's drugstore. Mr. Peavy is out and back making up a prescription, but Leroy is consuming a chocolate soda while his uncle watches.
Oh, boy.
Aren't you going to finish it, Leroy?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. How about another one?
Oh, gosh, thanks, Unc. 3 is plenty.
You may be right. Well, I got to get back to my office. You think you can amuse yourself for the rest of the afternoon?
I suppose so.
What do you think you'll do?
Oh, Bum around, I guess.
There must be something more wholesome than that.
I'll be okay.
I don't like to think of you just wandering around by yourself. Now, if there was some movie that you were crazy to see...
There is, Unc, at the Majestic. Gosh, if I could go to the Majestic.
Well, here's a quarter. You go on to the Majestic. But don't tell anybody I sent you.
Oh, thanks. The Majestic has a triple hauler. That'll carry me right up to supper time.
Huh? Sure it won't spoil your appetite?
Are you kidding? Those horror pictures make you hungry. Gee, thanks, Unc. I'll just be able to make it in time. So long.
Yeah, so long, my boy. Poor kid.
Mr. Gildersleeve, was that somebody going out or somebody coming in?
No, Peavy, just Leroy leaving. What do I owe you?
Yeah, just figured that out. 3 chocolate sodas, is that right?
That's right.
Doesn't seem possible. Well, that's 45 cents and 1 cent tax.
Here.
Thank you. 46, 50, 75, $1. Isn't this a little unusual, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Unusual?
Buying Leroy's sodas in the middle of the afternoon. Birthday, maybe.
No, it's not his birthday. He's been suspended from school.
You don't say. Well, it seems a funny reason to buy him a chocolate soda.
That's not why I'm buying him a chocolate soda.
But you said you...
Let me finish, please, Peavy. Just once.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gildersleeve, but I thought you said that
Allow me, Peavy. Permit me. Now, Leroy was suspended from school. I suppose you want to know why.
I didn't say anything.
I know you, Peavy. The boy was suspended because he was rude to his teacher. Suspended for a week.
A week?
Yes, pretty severe punishment, but I don't say it isn't fair. What I object to is that none of Leroy's friends will play with him. Their parents seem to think he's some kind of an outcast.
Well, that's the way of the world, Mr. Gildersleeve. Would you want Leroy playing with some young criminal?
Leroy is not a criminal. I think he's being persecuted unjustly. I'm just trying to make it up to him, that's all.
Well, if I were suspended from school and got free chocolate sodas, I might be tempted to make a habit of it.
That's ridiculous.
Well, then, if I like chocolate sodas.
Yes. Peavy, it's easy to see you never were in a jam when you were young.
No, I wouldn't say that. I tried to sneak onto a streetcar once without paying the 5 cents.
My, quite a crime. Were you arrested?
No, but the conductor made me give him a nickel. A very humiliating experience.
You haven't lived, Peavy. Naturally, you can't imagine what Leroy's going through. Why, if you...
Good afternoon, Mr. Peavy. Have you got my prescription ready?
Indeed, I have, Mrs. Townsend. Right here.
How do you do, Mrs. Townsend? How's little Arthur?
Will you charge it, please, Mr. Peavy?
Yes, ma'am. $1.12.
Thank you. Good day, Mr. Peavy.
Why didn't that woman speak to me? I've known her for years.
Is Arthur Townsend in Leroy's class?
Well, yes, I believe he is, but...
That's the way of the world, Mr. Gildersleeve. I'm afraid you're tarred with Leroy's brush.
But Leroy is just a kid. He's a nice little boy.
They all are at the beginning. I guess Dillinger was a nice boy once.
Dillinger?
If you'll excuse me, Mr. Gildersleeve, I have some work to do out and back.
Are you trying to get rid of me, Peavy?
Oh, no.
Yes, you are, Peavy. You're afraid I'll contaminate your other customers. You're afraid you'll lose some trade.
Why, Mr. Gildersleeve...
All right, you money grubber, you'll be sorry. See who that is, will you, Bertie?
I'm on my way. Oh, good evening, Judge.
Evening, Bertie.
Mr. Gildersleeve's writing the parlor, Judge. He's just starting in on the evening paper.
And I'd a lot rather read it than talk to Hooker. Oh, hello, Horace.
Hello, Gildy.
Yes, sit down. Make yourself at home.
No, I can't stay, thank you. I was passing by, and I just thought I'd drop in and ask you about that financial report.
Financial report?
Yeah, you were supposed to give the financial report at the school board meeting tomorrow night, remember?
Oh, that. Sure, I remember. I've got the report already. That is, I will have.
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, is that all you wanted to know?
Not exactly.
Well, speak up. What is it?
Well, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, Gildy, but it occurred to me you might like me to present your report to the school board.
Why should you? I'm chairman of the finance committee. Why shouldn't I give the report?
Well, a man in your position, that is to say, if I were in your position...
What position? What the devil are you talking about? Stop beating around the bush.
I'm afraid I'll have to. You're so thick.
Who's thick?
You are in more ways than one. Hasn't Leroy been suspended from the Summerfield Grammar School?
Yes, he has, and what of it?
Well, doesn't that place you in a slightly embarrassing position as a member of the school board?
How?
Well, how would you feel standing up there with the school board when you can't even keep your own nephew in school?
Now, see here, Judge. I had nothing to do with Leroy's difficulty. When the suspension period is over, he'll go back. Wonder if there's any way he could get back sooner.
Have you tried to arrange it?
No. I wonder if his teacher knows I'm on the school board.
I think it would be most inadvisable for you to start throwing your weight around.
I wasn't thinking of throwing my weight around. Just thinking of dropping a hint.
I've seen you drop a hint with an awful thud, Gildy.
Are you trying to suggest I'm undiplomatic, you old goat? I'll show you. I'll find a way out of this thing without any help from you either.
Well, what about tomorrow night?
I'll be there, don't you worry, and with a report. And I'll be able to look every member of that school board right in the eye. Is that you, Leroy?
Yeah, it's me. Supper ready?
In a minute. How was the picture?
That was okay. It isn't much fun going to the movies all by yourself.
Yeah, I know. Sit down, my boy. There. Now, I think you've been punished enough for your rudeness to Miss McCann.
Yeah? Gee, that's what I think.
Perhaps we can find a way to get you back in school tomorrow morning. How would you like that?
Can you really, Unc?
We'll see. You're sorry for your behavior, aren't you?
Sure. Gosh, never thought I'd be suspended.
Well, aside from the punishment, you realize you said a very bad thing to Miss McCann, that you hurt her feelings, that no boy in school should ever speak rudely to a teacher. You realize all that, don't you?
Sure. What are you getting at?
That's not the attitude, Leroy.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's the boy. Now, if you'll just say that to Miss McCann.
You mean I got to apologize?
Certainly. That's the manly thing to do, my boy.
I can't, Unc.
Let's not be silly about this, Leroy. There's nothing easier than to apologize, and there's nothing that gives you a better feeling afterward.
I can't apologize to her.
Nonsense. What makes you think you can?
In front of all the other kids?
Certainly. You insulted her in front of the other kids, didn't you?
I didn't insult her. Okay, I insulted her.
Look, Leroy, there's nothing to this thing. You walk into the schoolroom tomorrow morning, you walk straight up to Miss McCann, and you say, Miss McCann, I owe you an apology for my thoughtless behavior. I want you to know that I'm very sorry. What do you think she'll do, bite you?
She'll hit me with a rubber hose.
Leroy, you're acting like a baby. But if you want to get back in school tomorrow, this is the only way to do it.
Apologize?
Apologize.
The only way?
The only way.
Well, I guess I'll just have to wait till the week is up.
But Leroy, you haven't got anybody to play with. You're not having any fun. You're miserable, aren't you?
Sure I am.
Then why not apologize?
I hate to apologize.
It just happens, young man, that there are other people concerned in this affair. It just happens that I personally find this whole thing very embarrassing.
Oh, so that's it.
No, that's not it. I'm thinking principally of your welfare. The fact that I'm a member of the school board is entirely secondary.
What do I care about the school board?
Leroy, people are refusing to speak to me in the streets on account of you. I'm becoming an outcast.
So am I. But I'd rather be an outcast than apologize to old Lady McCann.
You listen here. You'll apologize tomorrow whether you like it or not. Come along.
She'll hit me with a rubber hose.
Leroy, there's nothing to be afraid of. I'm with you. I'll walk right up to the door of your room. I'll listen while you make your apology. If that woman lays a finger on you, I'll be there with you in a jiffy.
Okay.
Where is your room, Leroy?
At the end of the hall.
Long hall, isn't it? All right, my boy, now be brave. Just say what I told you to say. Just walk straight up to her and say, Miss McCann.
Oh, shut up.
Why, Leroy.
Good morning, Miss McCann.
Good morning, Leroy.
I'm sorry
That's all right. Just take your seat. Perhaps you'd like to lead the opening song, Leroy.
Okay. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, dear teacher. Good morning to you.
Well, I'll be darned. Maybe I ought to go in and say a few words to her myself, though, just to make it sure. Miss McCann?
Yes?
I wonder if I could just have a word with you.
Certainly. Excuse me a moment, class. Yes?
I'm Mr. Gildersleeve, Leroy's uncle.
Oh.
I just thought I'd mention that it was my idea for Leroy to apologize, and he was supposed to say a good deal more. That is, he was supposed to make a more elaborate apology. Yes, but the little devil...
Mr. Gildersleeve, if you don't realize it's the spirit of an apology that counts and not the words, you aren't fit to bring up children.
Miss McCann.
I suspected Leroy's difficulty must be with his home training, and now I'm sure of it.
But I only...
In fact, you're the one that should be suspended.
Look out, she's going for the rubber hose!
We'll hear from the Great Gildersleeve again in just a moment. Round about mid-afternoon, boys and girls are apt to get mighty hungry at school. And when they get home and make a beeline to the pantry, here's something that's sure to satisfy hungry young appetites. It's crisp crackers and slices of tender, fresh bread spread with delicious Parquet margarine. Children really go for Parquet's fresh, delicate flavor because it tastes so good. And there's another important reason why so many mothers serve after-school snacks of crackers and bread spread with delicious Parquet. It's that wonderful energy Parquet margarine helps provide, and the important vitamin A that's added to every single pound of Parquet. Of course, Parquet is mighty economical, too, only about half the price of costly spreads. So, mothers, tomorrow be sure to buy delicious, economical Parquet. Parkay, Parquet margarine, made by Kraft.
Uncle Mort, here's a special delivery letter that came for you this afternoon.
Oh?
It's postmarked Savannah.
Savannah, Georgia? Well, must be from Leela Ransom. I'll just see what it says here. Imagine that. Yeah. Oop. Why, the little minx. Huh? Oh.
What does she say, Uncle Mort?
She says she's had a very good time and she'll be back Friday. Well, that's what she said. Now, you go to bed. Good night, folks.
The Great Gildersleeve is played by Harold Peary. It is written by John Whedon and Sam Moore. The music is by Jack Meakin. This is John Lang speaking for the Kraft Foods Company and inviting you to listen in again next week for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
Do the children in your family like cheese? Then you can just bet they'll like Pabst-ett. It's so rich in mellow cheddar cheese flavor, so easy to digest. Pabst-ett is a cheese food that contains the nourishing food values of milk. And it's simply delicious, spread on bread or on crackers, or melted into a luscious cheese sauce for macaroni. And now that ration points are no longer required, you'll want to buy both delicious varieties, Golden Pabst-ett and Pimento Pabst-ett. Ask for Pabst-ett, the delicious cheddar cheese food, when you shop tomorrow.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
There you have it, an episode of The Great Gildersleeve as it was originally broadcast on September 19th, 1945. Let's check out another school day in just a moment here on Classic Radio Theater. Now let's wrap up this edition of Classic Radio Theater with an episode of Lum and Abner as we head to Pine Ridge back in September 16th, 1935. Seems like it's the first day of school in Pine Ridge.
To take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner. Brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. Well, school days are here again. Long, hungry days for the youngsters with no running in and out of doors for something to eat all day long. It's very important now that you give them something nourishing and sustaining in the morning before you pack them off to school. Horlicks, for instance. Youngsters like to drink Horlicks, and it's a fine, nourishing food drink for them. They can't help but benefit from the vitamins, the bodybuilding elements that every glass of Horlicks contains. They need its nourishment and fine sustaining powers. That's why I suggest you always keep a package handy in the pantry. Give it to them for lunch, too, and last thing at night. You can get it in a choice of flavors, either natural or chocolate. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Since Evelina Schultz, the school mom, returned to Pine Ridge to resume her teaching duties, the stockholders of the Great Western Sterling Silver Company are complaining that Lum is neglecting his duties as president and general manager of the mine to carry on his courtship. As we look in on our friends today, Lum and Abner have been out with their rolling grocery store all morning, and we find Grandpappy Spears down at Dick Huddleston's store expressing his views of the silver mine. Listen.
Well, I wouldn't blame Lum too much, Grandpa. He figured it was a good investment, or he wouldn't have sold it to you, naturally.
And I bought it on his recommendation, though. Figured he knowed what he's talking about.
Well, Lum was just selling the stock for Squire Skimp. He didn't get anything out of it except a little commission. And I think he turned around and invested his commission back in the company, bought stock with him.
Yeah, Lum was president of the company, though. He's responsible for the whole business.
Why, yes, but Squire just made him president so that all the people here in town would have more confidence in the silver mine. Squire was smart enough to know that they wouldn't trust him to buy anything.
That's what I say. Folks around here invested in it on account of Lum being president. Now it's up to him to see if they get their money back.
Well, Lum's trying his best, Grandpa.
Trying nothing. Evelina Schultz is back in town. That's all he did since he come back. Just chase over at Sister Simpson's to see her.
Well, he's trying his best to sell it, though. It's a pretty hard job to just go out and find a buyer for a silver mine right off.
Well, you ought to go out there in Arizona where it's at. If there's any silver in there, why, start digging it out and dividing it amongst the stockholders.
Well, that's the trouble. Squire took all the money they got from the sale of stock and skipped out with it, and now there's nothing left for Lum to operate on.
Yeah, you know, I don't believe Squire figured that mine was any count to start with.
Why, no, of course he didn't. I tried to tell you fellas that when you were putting every nickel you could scrape together into it, and you wouldn't listen to me.
Yeah, it sounded awful good, though, the way they told it.
Yeah, it sounded good.
Yeah, I thought I'd be so rich by this time I'd never have to do another day's work as long as I live.
Well, just remember this, Grandpa. Any time anybody tries to sell you anything that sounds that good, there must be something wrong with it, or they'd sure keep it for themselves.
Yeah, it does look that way, don't it?
I'd just love to know how much money is spent that way every year. People investing their savings in some get-rich-quick scheme, trying to get something without working for it. And the sad part about it is that invariably it's someone that can least afford to do it.
Yeah, there was a time in my life when it hurt me any worse to lose $100 than it does right now. Taxes is due, long ways past due far as that goes. Winter coming on. I just don't see how we're going to make it.
Yeah, it's a shame. But it may be that Lum can work the thing out some way to get your money back, if you'll just give him enough time. I know that he wants to do the right thing about it.
Oh, yeah, I know Lum means well.
Well, I feel awful sorry for him, Grandpap. Squire Skimp cleaned up about $3,000 and left Lum holding a sack. He's got all the responsibilities of it, and Squire got all the money. Of course, he did give Lum what stock there was left.
Yeah, he done that. See, Lum's got 57% of the stock now, counting what Squire give him. Controlling interest.
Yeah, but he had to give Squire a written agreement assuming all the responsibilities of the company. Squire's entirely out of it now.
Yeah. Lum could just sell it and get a part of our money back. It wouldn't be so bad.
No.
Reckon what that feller that was in here a while ago was wanting with him.
Well, I don't know. He just asked who the manager of the Great Western Sterling Silver Mining Company was, and I told him it was Lum.
I hope he's wanting to buy the mine.
Oh, yeah. Well, he went over to Lum's house to see him.
And Lum ain't home.
He isn't?
No, I seen him and Abner over at Caleb Weehunt's blacksmith shop when I come by a while ago. Still working on that trailer for Lum's office.
Haven't they got that thing ready yet?
No, and that's the foolishest idea I ever heard of, hooking that trailer on behind that rolling grocery store. That thing's big enough now without hooking nothing else on there.
Yeah. Well, Lum said he's going to use that for an office, for the silver mine.
Yeah, I know. That's the reason they let me go, too. He figures having the office right along with him that way, why, he can look after the silver mining business and work in the store both. He's aiming on just sitting back there in the office till Abner gets so busy he can't take care of the customers, and then he'll just go up there in the store for a while.
Well, more likely Abner won't like that very well. Wait a minute. Yeah, yonder they come now.
Yeah, them two always tickles me. Never walk along together. Lum's always about 10 foot in the lead, and Abner trailing along behind.
Yeah, they make a great pair.
Lum takes such long steps, Abner might not have to dog trot to keep up with him.
Well, come in, Lum, come in.
Gentlemen.
Fella in here looking for you a while ago, Lum.
Looking for me? Who was it?
Well, he didn't say. He's just looking for the manager of the silver mining company.
Well.
Howdy, man.
Howdy, Abner.
How you, Abner?
Why, right tolerably, I reckon.
The feller never said what he was wanting, did he?
No, I told him where you lived, and I guess he went over there.
I told Richard here, Lum. I told him I hope it's somebody wanting to buy the mine off of you. Aye, Grannies, that's about what it is, too. Somebody wanting to buy the mine. What sort of looking feller was he, Dick? Did he look like a millionaire?
Well, I don't know about that, Lum. He was a very nice-looking fellow, well-dressed and all.
Well, he'll never find nobody no easier to deal with, I'll tell him that.
You'll sell it to him, will you,
Oh,
Lum?
you bet your life he better not make me offer on it. He's done took up right now. I'm carrying my stock certificates right around with me here, just hoping somebody will make me offer on it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if he makes you any kind of offer at all on that mine, Lum, just take him right up on it. I want to get my money out of it. Well, of course, I want a horse swap with him a little bit. Don't want to just take him up on the first offer he makes.
Why, no, of course not. If he's come here to buy it, why, he'll do better than his first offer on it. Everybody always does. He ain't going to offer his high price the first time.
Why, of course not.
Well, I don't know that he's even interested in buying it, Lum. He just asked where the manager was.
Yeah. And I hope that's what he's wanting from and eating my money out of it bad.
Well, everybody needs it, Grandpap. You ain't the only one. I need my money out of it, too.
No, if you fellers will just be patient, I'm doing everything I can to expose of it. I wrote an advertisement this morning and mailed it into the newspaper there at the county seat, putting it up for sale. Paid for it out of my own pocket, too.
Well, that's too bad.
Well, I don't like to complain none, Lum, but it just looks to me like you've had time aplenty to do something with it if you aim to. What about all them promises you made whenever you sold me that stock? How rich I was going to get and all that. Well, I thought you would too, Grandpap. I was just telling everybody what Squire told me to tell them. Well, it's up to you to get our money back first. We're holding you responsible.
Well, now, Grandpap, he told you he's doing all he could. Don't pay no attention to him, Lum. He's just mad 'cause we don't need him on the store no more and had to let him go. That's all it's all.
Ain't no such a thing.
Yeah, too.
I ain't done it, Abner Peabody. You just keep your mouth out of it.
I know what's the matter with you. Just mad and trying to take it out on Lum.
If you want to know it, my taxes is way past due. I got a hearing from the collector this morning saying my place was on the delinquent list and it's going to be sold for taxes if I don't do something about it. I've just got to raise the money. That's all there are to it. Well, if there's any way to do it, Grandpap, I'd sure get you the money for you. You know that. I'd feel awful bad if you was to lose your place just on account of me selling you that stock. I know you would, Lum. I know you would. I ain't trying to work no hardships on you.
Here comes that fellow back there now.
Oh, that him?
Yeah, that's him.
Well, I seen him go by the blacksmith shop a while ago and wondered who he was. Must have been heading for my place then.
Yeah, more likely was.
Now, Lum, don't try to ask too much for it and scare him out of buying it.
Now, Grandpap, let's me and you just stay out of this now and let Lum handle it the way he wants to.
Yeah.
Well, come right in, sir. I'm sorry I caused you that walk for nothing. Here's the man you want to see right here.
Yes, sir. I'm president and general manager of the Silver Company. Edwards is my name, Lum Edwards.
How do you do, Mr. Edwards? Donahue is my name.
I'm proud to make your acquaintance, sir. Sit down. Abner, get up and let Mr. Donahue have that box.
Oh, yeah, sure. Here, sit down, sir.
I went over to your house, but evidently there was no one home.
No, I live there by myself, and whenever I ain't there, why, there ain't nobody there.
Yes, why, Mr. Edwards, I understand that you're selling stock in a silver mine located in Arizona.
Well, we have been, yeah.
Yeah.
We ain't been selling none here of late to speak of. See, you might not everybody in town's already bought some of it.
Yes, I understood that you'd sold quite a bit around here.
Oh, my. Couldn't hardly get the stock printed fast enough there for a while.
No.
It's a good invest, all right. Special if it works out like we think it will, or like we hope it will.
Yes, well, I wanted to get all the particulars.
I reckon you just want to buy the whole shebang, though, huh?
No, I don't know that I want to buy any of it. I just wanted to hear all about it.
Oh, yeah, well, tell you all about it, anything you want to know.
Well, I'd just like to know a little about the company, Mr. Edwards, the value of the stock.
Well, it's out there in Arizona, and according to them that saw it, it's 14 karat sterling silver that's in it. Yeah. And there's a world of plenty of it in there. Just go in there and take great chunks out of it with your bare hands.
Yeah, Squire Skimp, he brought a whole big chunk back with him. I seen it myself. Said it was solid silver.
Abner, I'll talk to Mr. Donahue here.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd love mighty well to have you in the company with us if you could see your way clear to buy some stocks. You just buy a few shares. It ought to be enough to make you rich.
What are the shares worth, Mr. Edwards?
Well, right now I could run sort of an extra special on them, sort of a Monday special, you know. We've been getting $50 a share for it, but just to be right honest with you, we've got one stockholder in the company that's needing his money back of it mighty bad right now to pay his taxes with, keep from losing his place. So today I'd offer you 3 shares of stock for the same price we've been getting for $100 cash, so I can let him have his money back.
3 shares for $100, huh?
Yes, sir, and I give you my word that's the first time that price has ever been cut 1 nickel. It's a bargain at that.
All right, Mr. Edwards, you can just make out 3 shares in my name. I'll take it.
Well, good for you. Hey, Granny's grandpap, there's your tax money for you right there. I know about it.
Well, that takes care of Grandpap's taxes, all right. But who is this Mr. Donahue? 2 minutes left. Let's use it to hear what Miss Marcella Ridge of Waverly Hills, Kentucky, says in a recent letter. It's something that concerns you all.
I was operated on in January, and later on my appetite wasn't so good. I listened to your program, so I thought I'd try Horlicks myself. Well, I did, and I liked it very much. After my first package, I had my mother get me another one. And here's the point of my letter. When she asked the clerk for Horlicks, he asked her to try his brand. Well, she did, and I didn't like it one bit. It didn't even taste like malted milk. So after this, we're going to get nothing but Horlicks. And since taking it, I've begun to eat and sleep and feel fine. The other patients, too, have noticed a change in me. I feel like a new person.
Well, that's fine, Miss Ridge. We're glad to hear it. It's too bad about that substitution, though. We really can't urge our listeners enough to always be sure and insist on Horlicks, the original. This is Carlton Bricker, speaking for Lum and Abner and Horlicks. We'll now bid you all goodbye until tomorrow at this same time.
Well, there you have it. Not much to do with school, but still trying to get shed of that silver mine. That's Lum and Abner, as it was originally broadcast back in 1935, September 16th. We'll be back real soon with more Wyatt Cox Classic Radio Theater. Thanks for joining me.